that, what do you think is the optimal amount of protein for someone to be sort of targeting, if protein is the goal every day?
Right. So I like to target roughly a gram per pound of desired body weight or ideal body weight or reference body weight or what you should weigh for your height. So, for example, I'm 5'10", and males should weigh 110 pounds for the first 5 feet and then 5 pounds for every inch over that. So I should weigh 160 pounds. And I do weigh about 160 pounds. So my target is 160 grams of protein a day as sort of a minimum. And sometimes I'll go up to 1.25 grams per pound per day, which is about 200 grams for me. So I'm eating 160 to 200 grams of protein a day. And I think that's a really good target for most people. And that's my advice to pretty much everyone I see, is to target a gram per pound of desired or ideal body weight. For women, you should weigh 100 pounds for the first 5 feet and then 5 pounds for every additional inch over that. So if you're 5'4", you should weigh 120 pounds, for example. So you target 120 grams of protein minimum, maybe a little bit over that.
And do you have a sort of optimal idea for fat or other macros?
Yeah. So I think if you're in a very low carb diet and you're at maintenance, you'd probably eat equal grams of protein and fat. But if you're at all trying to lower your body fat percentage, you should have your fat grams way lower than your protein grams daily. Like my goal personally is to have fat grams lower than protein grams every single day. Like there's almost no days where I eat higher fat grams than protein grams. So for me, protein might be 160 to 200 grams. Fat might be 100 grams. I might eat considerably lower fat grams. If you're really, really cutting, you might want to eat half the fat grams that you eat in protein daily. And this is, what every single bodybuilder and bikini model and fitness model and aesthetic athlete out there is doing. And it works extremely well. And I think what people don't understand is that gets you the very healthiest as well. You get extremely low fasting insulin levels and blood sugars and A1Cs and triglycerides, and all these metrics just get ultra low the leaner you get. And you do that and you sustain it with a higher protein percentage diet.
So your macro ratio usually is like 1-to-1 for maintenance and kind of optimizing body composition, and then tweaking that depending on if your goal is like fat loss, for example. Is that about right?
Correct. Like, so if you're eating no carbs, for example, which I don't recommend, but if you were, then it would be a gram per pound of protein or higher, equal grams of fat for maintenance, and half the grams of fat for extreme cutting, or somewhere in between for a little bit more sustained weight loss.
Okay, so I'm going to challenge you a little bit on the protein thing.